I'm with Darrel and Angela Engen, who are members of First Lutheran Church, more recent members with their family here at First Lutheran Church. And we're having a conversation this morning with them as a part of our stewardship focus, preparing ourselves for 2019, but looking back at how ministries have affected us positively and how it's an important part of our life. So I just want to say thank you for being here. This is an awesome honor to be a part of your lives and to hear your story. And I know others will be blessed by it as well. First things, how did you end up here? What's your story? How did you get here? Briefly.
Years of working in the home, babysitter Angela went back to school and went to school as a respiratory therapist. And so she graduated there, and then it came the time for the job market. And it came down, whittled down between Rhinelander or Madison.
Wow.
And it worked out with Madison, so.
Well, I got offered a day position. I did a circumference around Madison. We wanted a little bit more rural area to transition them to, because we're both from a very, very small community, you know. I think Oliva is like less than 1,000. It's like 600 people, and then Strum is 1,000 approximately. So anyway.
And you drew the circumference around?
We did, Madison area. And so then we also looked at like housing markets and price ranges and things. And our first stop actually was Lodi. And
What triggered, why did you?
When we drove off the interstate, I saw Holsteins on the side of the road, and I said, we can do this.
There are some people in our community that would really delight in hearing that. Cows are a sacred animal in this area.
Yeah, we're both from the farm.
Yeah, we both grew up on dairy farms. We both are from a family of 7 kids, so.
Oh, wow.
And
wow.
Yes, both of our heritage strong, rooted from like Norway, multiple generations of farming in the Oliva-Strom area, Mondovi area.
And so you called, if I recall, you called and asked about our church and wanting to get involved, and you also checked in with the school district. Can you tell a little bit about that experience, both with the school district and calling in?
Yeah, because a whole lot of things were going to happen, I guess, with having kids and try to make it as easy as possible for them to uproot them and move them. I have some in high school and some in elementary, and I guess I proactively wanted to see what was available, you know, starting in the summertime, so they could, you know, meet friends or neighbors and things like that. So, I mean, when we first drove in, we actually stopped at the district office and asked about the schooling and things. And Chris, she helped us locate a place to rent. She gave me numbers. She took down my email address and phone number, and she was an excellent resource that way. We just were determined, you know, we're going to get into Lodi somehow.
Let's hear for the Lodi School District.
That's right. And I also, I Googled, you know, Lutheran Church around Lodi. First Lutheran popped up, so thought I'd call and have a little chat.
Did you go to the yellow pages, or did you?
No, I actually used my phone and the internet. So, yes.
And then, so you settled here. It took a little while for all of you to be together, right? You started early, and then Darrel, you were still working.
Angela, it started the end of June, and then I was not able to get a transfer down here until October 17th.
Okay, so people who were helpful in the process. I mean, like the school district, like you said, and the church and stuff.
And the church was huge.
Yeah.
Exactly. Just reaching out, and they were so helpful. Just with Darrel not being down here, I just remember there's times with me and my work schedule, and I know that Lisa just more than willingly came to pick up kids to make sure they were at Wednesday night logos.
So the story includes, though, you having some serious health situation with Darrel, with your health, right? And it's been a difficult, journey up until that point too, and you had some challenges even leading up to before that.
Yep. So like upon graduation, from in May of 2016, the next step was obviously I got hired here, but I had to take my boards.
Okay.
So the first set of boards was to qualify me. I ended up getting my CRT.
Yep.
And that meant that after that I could take my registry. So I, on the May 24th, went and I got my CRT license so I could at least start. And got a phone call later that day that my sister-in-law passed away. She was 4 years older than me. Graduated from the same high school as me from Oliva Strum, and so that was just huge devastation. And then 2 weeks later, he has heart surgery, and then I'm moving down here and still having to pass my registry.
Yeah.
I only had 6 months to do that, so I moved the whole family with no certainty.
So during that time, what was your sense of God and who God was for you? How was your faith helpful for you during that time?
I guess I would just say that I had a very strong sense of, like Madison's, that's the job. And then, coming to Lodi, that was it. We checked out other places, but, just trusting, I guess, and that this is the right fit for us. And this is what I have to do next, because life doesn't stop, or it's not over.
Right.
There is some purpose, there's some plan. I may not know it, but just trust, if I didn't have that, I don't know. Could have probably just laid down and,
So you're pretty resilient folks, to be honest with you.
No, I think that it worked out with First Lutheran down here for Angela when I was up there the whole time. There was, basically coming to a new community with the kids, and I'm not being there. And, I was very active in the church with, communion service. I read scriptures and all,
Were you on the council too?
Yeah, so in the council, was it 3 different times, something like that? The times get a little frustrating too with myself, learning new jobs, a new area, going into areas I've never been in my entire life, and doing that. That's a new thing for me. Usually Angela can tell you that too, I'm pretty consistent about, I'm orderly.
You like things in order.
Everything's in order.
I shook it up.
It is.
So when you were up in Oliva Strum area, you knew your turf really well.
Yeah,
right?
I covered the same area, and basically you go through, and it's like a day-to-day thing. You get up, you know exactly where you're going, and no problem. Down here, it was a completely different story through there.
Sounds like a lot of people's faith stories in the Bible, like Abraham and Sarah. God said, move to this new land, go from your homeland. And they had to go to a strange place with strange people.
In regards to Anthony, we lost him on May 31st of this year. So his driving experience unexpectedly. So it's been a blessing with his daughter, because basically he's been a sign that life goes on, it continues, and there is hope. There is hope. She is bright. She's with us.
I find that there's hope. There's hope that there's growth. We're always learning. And if something, comes to an end, another chapter opens type of thing, that there's a constant change of seasons, but with that, it's learning and growing, and then being there for others. Because of our experiences, we are able to be there and comfort others that may, may incur that some sort of situation in their lives. It's just to be humble and loving to our neighbors and things like that.